Today, we're uncovering the traditions, resilience, and ongoing revival of the Lakota people, shedding light on the importance of understanding Native American cultures. The Lakota people, also known as the Sioux, mainly inhabit the Great Plains region of North America. This area covers present-day South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, and Montana. Historically, they were nomadic hunters, following the vast buffalo herds for sustenance and survival. Their history is deeply intertwined with the land and the natural world, shaping their unique way of life. From the challenges of colonization to their strength in the face of adversity, the Lakota people's journey reflects the resilience of indigenous peoples throughout the Americas. The Lakota people have a rich and complex history that traces back thousands of years. They are part of the larger Sioux Nation, which also includes the Dakota and Lakota tribes. The Lakota's oral tradition tells of their origins in the Great Lakes region, where they lived as woodland dwellers. Around the 17th century, the Lakota began migrating westward onto the Great Plains, driven by pressure from European settlers and conflicts with neighboring tribes. This migration was a gradual process, marked by a series of movements and interactions with other indigenous groups along the way. As they ventured onto the Great Plains, the Lakota adapted to their new environment, becoming skilled hunters and horsemen. The introduction of horses by Spanish explorers in the 16th century transformed Lakota culture, enabling them to pursue buffalo more efficiently and engage in trade and warfare with neighboring tribes. By the 18th century, the Lakota had established themselves as one of the dominant tribes on the plains, known for their prowess in battle and their nomadic way of life. They formed alliances with other plains tribes, such as the Cheyenne and Arapaho, and engaged in trade with European fur traders. The Lakota's migration to the Great Plains marked a significant chapter in their history, shaping their identity, culture, and relationship with the land. It laid the foundation for their enduring presence on the plains and their role in the broader history of Native American peoples in North America. The arrival of European settlers in North America brought significant changes to the lives of the Lakota people. Initially, interactions were characterized by trade and alliances as European goods such as guns and metal tools became valuable commodities for the Lakota. However, as European colonization expanded, conflicts arose over land and resources. Throughout the 19th century, the U.S. government negotiated a series of treaties with the Lakota and other plains tribes, aiming to secure land for white settlement while guaranteeing indigenous rights to specific territories. However, these treaties were often disregarded or broken by the U.S. government, leading to land loss and increasing tensions. The Fort Laramie Treaties of 1851 and 1868 are among the most significant agreements between the Lakota and the U.S. government. The Treaty of 1851 established territorial boundaries for various plains tribes, including the Lakota, while the Treaty of 1868 established the Great Sioux Reservation, encompassing much of present-day South Dakota, Wyoming, and Montana. Despite these treaties, the U.S. government continued to encroach on Lakota territory. Red Cloud's War, 1866 to 1868, was a pivotal conflict between the Lakota and the U.S. government over control of the Powder River country in present-day Wyoming and Montana. Led by Lakota Chief Red Cloud, along with allies such as Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull, Lakota warriors waged a successful guerrilla campaign against U.S. Army forces, ultimately forcing the government to abandon several forts and renegotiate the Treaty of Fort Laramie in 1868. One of the darkest chapters in Lakota history occurred in 1890 with the Wounded Knee Massacre. Tensions between the U.S. Army and the Lakota had been escalating, fueled by the Ghost Dance movement and fears of a Native American uprising. On December 29, 1890, U.S. soldiers opened fire on a group of unarmed Lakota men, women, and children near Wounded Knee Creek in South Dakota, resulting in the deaths of over 150 Lakota. These key moments in Lakota history highlight the complex and often tragic interactions between the Lakota people and European settlers and the U.S. government, shaping the course of indigenous resistance, resilience, and survival in the face of colonization and oppression. The Battle of Little Bighorn, also known as Custer's Last Stand, stands as a defining moment in Lakota history. Fought between the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho tribes, led by leaders such as Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse, and the U.S. Army's 7th Cavalry Regiment, led by General George Custer, the battle resulted in a decisive victory for the Lakota and their allies. It marked a rare instance of Native American forces successfully repelling U.S. military incursions into their territory and remains a symbol of indigenous resistance to colonization. The Treaty of Fort Laramie holds immense significance in the history of Lakota-U.S. relations. The 1851 treaty established territorial boundaries for various Plains tribes, including the Lakota, while the 1868 treaty established the Great Sioux Reservation, granting the Lakota exclusive use of the Black Hills and other lands in present-day South Dakota, Wyoming, and Montana. However, the discovery of gold in the Black Hills led to increased white settlement and subsequent U.S. violations of the treaty, culminating in the Black Hills War and the eventual confiscation of Lakota lands. These pivotal events underscore the complex dynamics of power, negotiation, and resistance between the Lakota people and the U.S. government, shaping the course of Lakota history and the ongoing struggle for indigenous rights and sovereignty. Central to Lakota culture is a profound spirituality that is deeply rooted in their connection to the land and the natural world. The Lakota believe in a spiritual universe inhabited by a multitude of beings, including spirits of the earth, sky, and animals. Ceremonies such as the Sun Dance, Vision Quest, and Sweat Lodge are essential expressions of Lakota spirituality, fostering individual and communal healing, connection, and harmony with the spiritual realm. The Lakota language, part of the Siouan language family, is a vital component of Lakota identity and cultural preservation. It is a complex and expressive language, characterized by its rich vocabulary and grammatical structure. Efforts to revitalize the Lakota language are underway, with initiatives aimed at teaching and preserving the language within Lakota communities and schools. Lakota art encompasses a diverse range of forms, including traditional crafts such as beadwork, quillwork, and buffalo hide painting, as well as contemporary expressions such as painting, sculpture, and mixed media. Artistic motifs often draw inspiration from Lakota spirituality, symbolism, and natural imagery, reflecting the interconnectedness of all living beings and the enduring legacy of Lakota culture. Storytelling plays a central role in Lakota culture, serving as a means of transmitting knowledge, wisdom, and cultural values from one generation to the next. Lakota stories, myths, and legends are passed down orally and encompass a wide range of themes, from creation myths and heroic deeds to cautionary tales and moral lessons. Through storytelling, the Lakota preserve their history, honor their ancestors, and affirm their cultural identity in the face of ongoing challenges and changes. Buffalo hunting was central to the survival and way of life of the Lakota people. The buffalo provided not only food but also clothing, shelter, tools, and spiritual sustenance. Every part of the buffalo was utilized, from its meat and hide to its bones and sinew. The Lakota developed sophisticated hunting techniques, such as the communal buffalo hunt, where groups of hunters worked together to drive herds over cliffs or into enclosures. Buffalo hunting fostered cooperation, resourcefulness, and reverence for the natural world, shaping the spiritual and cultural identity of the Lakota people. The teepee, or Lakota in Lakota language, served as the traditional dwelling of the Lakota people. Constructed from wooden poles and buffalo hides, teepees were portable and well-suited to the nomadic lifestyle of the Lakota, allowing them to move with the seasons and follow the buffalo herds. Teepees were not only practical shelters but also symbols of Lakota culture and identity, adorned with intricate designs and symbols that reflected the spiritual beliefs and social hierarchy of the community. Inside the teepee, family life revolved around the central fire, where stories were told, ceremonies performed, and bonds strengthened. In addition to buffalo hunting and teepees, various other aspects of Lakota life were essential to their cultural identity and survival. Ceremonies such as the Sun Dance, Vision Quest, and Sweat Lodge were integral to Lakota spirituality, fostering connection with the spiritual realm and the natural world. Lakota society was organized around kinship ties, with extended families forming the basic unit of social structure. Leadership and decision-making were often decentralized, with respected elders playing a significant role in community governance. Lakota art encompassed a wide range of forms, including beadwork, quillwork, pottery, and buffalo hide painting. These artistic traditions were not only decorative but also imbued with cultural symbolism and spiritual significance. The Sundance is one of the most sacred and significant ceremonies in Lakota culture. It is a ceremony of prayer, sacrifice, and renewal traditionally held in the summer months. Participants, known as Sundancers, undergo rigorous physical and spiritual preparations leading up to the ceremony, including fasting, purification rituals, and the construction of the ceremonial arbor. During the Sundance, dancers pierce their skin with eagle claws or buffalo bones attached to thongs, symbolizing their sacrifice and commitment to the community and the natural world. The Sundance is a time of healing, prayer, and spiritual communion, reaffirming the interconnectedness of all living beings and the enduring strength of Lakota culture. The powwow is a vibrant celebration of Lakota culture, bringing together members of the community and neighboring tribes to honor traditions, share stories, and showcase artistic talents. Powwows feature a variety of activities, including drumming, singing, dancing, and traditional regalia. Each dance style, such as the fancy dance, grass dance, and jingle dance, has its own unique movements, music, and regalia, reflecting different aspects of Lakota heritage and identity. Powwows also serve as forums for intergenerational exchange, as elders pass down knowledge and teachings to younger generations, ensuring the continuity of Lakota culture and values. One of the most significant challenges faced by the Lakota people is the loss of their ancestral lands. Historical treaties, such as the Treaty of Fort Laramie, were often disregarded or violated by the U.S. government, leading to the confiscation of Lakota territory and the displacement of indigenous communities. The loss of land has had profound social, cultural, and economic impacts on the Lakota, disrupting traditional ways of life and severing their connection to the land and natural resources. Economic hardship is pervasive within many Lakota communities, with high rates of poverty, unemployment, and limited access to essential services such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Historical and ongoing marginalization, combined with geographical isolation and limited economic opportunities, have contributed to cycles of poverty and socioeconomic inequality among the Lakota people. The Lakota people have endured centuries of colonization, displacement, and cultural suppression, resulting in profound historical trauma that continues to impact individuals and communities today. Historical traumas, such as the loss of land, forced assimilation policies, and systemic discrimination, have contributed to high rates of substance abuse, mental health issues, and social dysfunction within many Lakota communities. Healing from historical trauma requires acknowledgement, validation, and culturally relevant interventions that address the root causes of intergenerational trauma and promote resilience and healing. Despite the numerous challenges they face, the Lakota community demonstrates remarkable resilience in preserving their cultural heritage and identity. Through various initiatives and grassroots efforts, the Lakota people are actively working to revitalize their language, traditions, and spiritual practices. Community-led cultural events, language immersion programs, and traditional arts and crafts workshops play a crucial role in passing down knowledge and teachings to future generations. Moreover, ceremonies such as the Sundance and Powwows serve as powerful expressions of Lakota spirituality and cultural resilience, providing opportunities for community members to come together, celebrate their heritage, and reaffirm their cultural identity. Healthcare disparities are a pressing issue within many Lakota communities, characterized by limited access to quality healthcare services, inadequate infrastructure, and high rates of chronic illnesses such as diabetes, heart disease, and mental health disorders. Geographic isolation, poverty, and historical underinvestment in healthcare infrastructure contribute to these disparities, exacerbating health outcomes and reducing the overall well-being of the community. Education disparities are another significant challenge facing the Lakota community, with lower graduation rates, limited access to quality education, and systemic barriers to academic success. Historical trauma, cultural disconnect in mainstream education systems, and inadequate resources for culturally relevant education all contribute to these disparities. Efforts to promote culturally responsive teaching, language revitalization, and indigenous-led educational initiatives are essential to address these disparities and empower Lakota youth to succeed academically and culturally. Environmental concerns, including land degradation, pollution, and climate change, pose significant threats to the health and livelihoods of the Lakota people. Extractive industries, such as mining and fossil fuel extraction, often encroach upon indigenous lands, threatening water quality, wildlife habitats, and traditional subsistence practices. Environmental justice movements led by indigenous communities seek to protect sacred sites, defend land sovereignty, and promote sustainable land management practices that prioritize environmental conservation and indigenous rights. Initiatives aimed at revitalizing Lakota culture and language, such as language immersion programs and cultural centers, play a vital role in preserving the Lakota heritage. These efforts empower community members to reclaim their language, traditions, and spiritual practices, ensuring their transmission to future generations. Lakota activists and leaders play a crucial role in advocating for indigenous rights and sovereignty. Through their tireless efforts, they raise awareness about historical injustices, challenge systemic barriers, and promote self-determination and cultural revitalization within Lakota communities. Allyship and solidarity are essential in supporting Lakota communities. By amplifying indigenous voices, advocating for policy changes, and standing in solidarity with Lakota struggles, allies contribute to the collective efforts to address disparities, protect indigenous rights, and promote justice and equality for all. The video explores the rich cultural heritage of the Lakota people, highlighting their traditions, resilience, and ongoing efforts for cultural revival. It discusses the origins of the Lakota, their migration to the Great Plains, and key historical events such as the Treaty of Fort Laramie and the Battle of Little Bighorn. The importance of buffalo hunting, teepees, and other traditional aspects of Lakota life is emphasized, along with the role of ceremonies like the Sundance and Powwow in preserving Lakota culture. Despite facing challenges such as land loss, poverty, and historical trauma, the Lakota community demonstrates resilience through initiatives to preserve their cultural heritage and advocate for indigenous rights. Finally, the video emphasizes the importance of allyship and solidarity in supporting Lakota communities and addressing contemporary issues such as healthcare disparities, education, and environmental concerns. The video underscores the significance of understanding and respecting Lakota culture and history, highlighting its richness and resilience. Viewers are encouraged to delve deeper into Native American issues, educate themselves, and support initiatives that uplift indigenous communities. By fostering understanding, empathy, and solidarity, we can work towards a more just and equitable society for all. Thank you for watching our exploration of Lakota culture and history. We hope you gained valuable insights into the richness and resilience of the Lakota people. If you found this video informative and engaging, we invite you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. By supporting us, you enable further exploration of Native American topics and contribute to raising awareness about indigenous issues. Together, let's continue to learn, grow, and advocate for the recognition and respect of indigenous cultures and communities. Thank you for your support.